Rapaziada, e a torcida do Flamengo aqui, hein, cara, que tá chocando lá no Mundial de Clubes. Vamos ver aqui o que o Kompany, o técnico do Bayern de Munique, falou sobre esse confronto aí entre Bayern e Flamengo e tudo mais. Esse vídeo aqui foi legendado lá pelo canal Futebol Todo Dia. Vou deixar o link aqui embaixo na descrição para vocês se inscreverem lá também. E a nós, vamos dar uma olhada?
Angesprochen, jetzt spielt man nochmal gegen eine brasilianische Mannschaft. Das macht ja auch ein bisschen den Reiz dieses Turniers aus. Können Sie irgendwas schon zu dieser Mannschaft sagen? Und man spielt in Miami, da ist es auch heiß. Aber es sind irgendwie andere Verhältnisse und auch der Rasen ist da, glaube ich, anders, oder?
Ja, Rasen ist normalerweise besser als hier, auf jeden Fall. Also, ja, die werden wahrscheinlich auch wieder viele Fans haben. Und man hat natürlich gesehen, wie diese südamerikanische Mannschaften leben für dieses Turnier. Aber trotzdem, wir haben diese Tests gut überstanden gegen Boca Juniors und jetzt kommt ein neuer Test. Und ich hatte von Anfang an auch auch gedacht, dass wir wahrscheinlich gegen Flamengo in die nächste Runde spielen. Es ist ein bisschen umgedreht, warum, aber trotzdem haben wir uns vorbereitet, damit wir gegen diese Gegner auch Leistung und Sieg holen.
Es ist ja so ein bisschen das Turnier, wo alle schauen Europa gegen Südamerika. Was hast du denn aus dem Spiel oder vielleicht, weiß ich, ob du schon Zeit hattest, Chelsea gegen Flamengo schon herauslesen können? Was nimmt man damit aus dieser Niederlage des europäischen Teams?
Ja, ich glaube, diese brasilianische Mannschaft hat eine gute Mischung zwischen individueller Qualität, das heißt auch, wenn die Bedingungen nicht 100% perfekt sind, kommen die trotzdem irgendwie raus im Dribble oder sind die einfach auch sehr gefährlich auf Counters und diese Situation, die haben diese Kreativität auch manchmal nicht taktisch alles zu lösen, aber einfach mit einem Gefühl zu lösen. Und dann gibt es natürlich diese unglaubliche Emotion, das die ins Spiel mitbringen. Wenn die Verteidiger wenn die angreifen, gehen die alle mit. Und man bleibt natürlich, ich glaube, die bleiben bestätigen, dass das Niveau von südamerikanisches Fußball sehr hoch ist. Ich habe nicht das Gefühl, dass das eine Überraschung ist, aber ich glaube, dass es jetzt auch deutlich ist. Und deswegen, wir spielen jetzt gegen Flamengo. Es hätte entweder Flamengo oder Chelsea geworden, ja, sein können. Ich weiß nicht, wie groß das Niveauunterschied ist. Das heißt für uns nochmals, endet die Aufgabe nicht und wir gehen voll rein in das nächste Spiel und nehmen das Momentum von der zweiten Halbzeit mit.
É engraçado, né? Porque o Kompany já estava se preparando para passar em primeiro lugar no grupo e já estava se preparando, ele falou aqui, né? Tava se preparando para que o Flamengo passasse em segundo no grupo da frente, né? E aí eles iam se enfrentar. Só que, na verdade, ele que acabou passando em segundo, né? E o time do Flamengo passou em primeiro, então foi surpreendente também. Mas, cara, muito doido, né? Assim, achei engraçado. A primeira coisa que ele falou do Flamengo foi da torcida, né? Que a torcida vai lotar o estádio, deve ter lembrado lá da partida contra o Boca Juniors também. E tem muita gente da mídia elogiando a torcida do Flamengo, né? Aqui lá na ESPN lá de fora, eles também elogiaram, olha só.
Advancing to the knockout stages, which means next up for Bayern, it is Flamengo, 4 p.m. in Miami, coming up this weekend. Scattered thunderstorms, seeing as though we are meteorologists right now.
Well, I tell you what, that was a difficult draw for old Auckland City though, wasn't it? Really. You know, sentimental, bit of empathy. It was not easy, but I'm sure it was a good experience for them. Anyway, back to the weather. What, scattered thunderstorms, what?
Scattered thunderstorms.
Where?
Expected in Miami for...
It's always thunderstorms in Miami. 3 o'clock in the afternoon. As sure as the sun comes up in the morning, thunderstorms. Afternoon, blatter down for a good half an hour, clear.
So there we go. So now we get the tests up next. So we're seeing a Flamengo against a Bayern Munich, and we're seeing how important this tournament is to these teams and what type of game we might be expecting from them, Gab.
Yeah, this whole thing, are they taking it seriously, is important. You know my thoughts on this, but I don't think anybody's going to doubt Flamengo. Just having been around the club, having been around their fans in Philly, it's an absolute priority. I think for Bayern as well. You know, I think they took this game against Benfica maybe a little bit lightly, and we can come out and say, oh, they drew, so they weren't taking it seriously. Well, you know, they certainly had their chances to win this game as well. I think Bayern are obviously going to be favorites, but not by a lot, because Flamengo have a ton of cohesion. They have a ton of experience. Talked about Miami. If it is hot, if it is humid, a team like Flamengo, who are a little bit older, but there's a lot of individual quality from Pulgar to George Andres Keita to Jorginho, of course, to Danilo at the back. I think they can definitely hang with Bayern.
Yeah,
I think
3
what they
PM as well in Miami.
Oh, I've no idea. You know better. Well, you know.
Hot, humid, scattered thunderstorms.
Thank you very much. What about the rest of the week?
I'll check back with my glasses.
Well, I think what you do know is, if you're a European team, or if you're a big elite European club, as some of them are. Well, Frank, all I'm saying is, if you're playing a South American team, one of the better South American teams, you need to be up for it, or you could have some egg in your face. And I think we saw that certainly with the Flamengo game. Who was it against, the last game they played?
It was against Chelsea.
Against Chelsea. I think
and Nico Jackson got sent off.
Yeah, that game we saw the clip of earlier, where Flamengo played some great stuff in this game, particularly early on. And I think there is no doubt, let there be no doubt that both the South American teams and their supporters want scalps. They want some big European scalps. They want this tournament. They are taking it serious. They have been the best in the tournament thus far. And if you're one of the teams like Bayern are, and one or two others playing these teams, then you are going to have to raise your game from where you have been. Otherwise, you are going to get beaten. Because their mindset, to me, watching the games that I've watched in this tournament thus far, which is not as many as others, is they are the mindset of these players is different. They're not moaning about the heat. They're not moaning about the pitches, as far as I know. They're just getting the job done. They're playing with a higher intensity, and they're playing some good football. So at this moment in time, the South American sides, the big ones, are the teams, without a doubt, are the teams to beat in this competition.
What do you want to say, Frank?
Two things I want to say. I want to say to some people, they have to stop complaining about the grass, about the heat. I mean, that was the beauty of when I was watching the 86 World Cup, for example, in Mexico, when before me, the 70 World Cup, the same area, same country, the 94 World Cup, where the grass was different, the weather was hot. In Mexico, it was high because Mexico City is in a very high level. And nobody complained about that because that was special. And that was the football of there. In Brazil, the grass were thicker, longer, and that was the kind of football we had. That was a different football. Now, everybody was the same football, the same grass, the same water, the same heat, where everything's... So stop complaining, play football. We are in a different side of the country, of the world, sorry. You're not in England or in France. You play in the United States, you play like it is, and don't stop complaining. The other thing is, I saw Bayern Munich, Benfica. I finally have the answer of whether that's the ending of the season or the beginning of a new season. When I saw Thomas Müller playing and Di Maria playing, I know that's the ending of a season because those players, one is going to go on retirement and the other is going to go back to his first club. So that's clearly the ending of the season. It was a question that I asked before. Nobody gave me the answer.
É isso, né? Parece que realmente eles estão fim de temporada. E é o momento, cara. É o momento do Flamengo aproveitar isso, do Palmeiras aproveitar isso. E, enfim, pessoal. Espero que vocês tenham curtido aqui o vídeo. Comenta aqui embaixo o que vocês acharam aí da opinião do pessoal lá de fora. E é nóis, beleza? Tamo junto. Um forte abraço. Valeu e até o próximo.